a lot of things going on, a lot of legal challenges. You had mentioned that you'd walked away from your career in policing because of obviously the stand that you took. I myself did as well. And there's others that may have been let go or fired for the position they took, and others chose to walk away. In your opinion, and from your experience, if you chose to walk away, is there recourse for you?
Yes, really what that comes down to legal definition. And the best way to go about that is go on CANLEY, which is the online legal kind of archives, to see what precedent's been set. In my view, if you left because you're being pushed, that's constructive dismissal. If you're being asked to do something that violated your bodily autonomy or your religious rights or what your rights to freedom of expression or whatever the case might be, and the employer took a position that, you know, that violated the quote unquote mandates, as we're now seeing as being ruled unconstitutional and unlawful and ultra vires, then I would lawyer up. I'd be giving some calls to some lawyers. And I mean, let's be honest, folks. Lawyers like to make money too, and they like to have wins. And this is a winning environment now. Call up the lawyers and say, hey, want to take on my case? If so, what's your contingency? Is it 25%, 35%, 50%? What are we looking at here? See, you know, present your case to them, see what they say. And this is the time, in my view, this is the time to grab the bull by the balls and say, you done wrong. I'm not going to roll over and say the past is the past because you are still in the position you're in. You need to pay for what you did. And I say you go about doing that as quickly as you can, because now is the time. It is a winning environment for that, and they deserve their feet being held to the fire. Well, I mean, every lawyer's going to have a different opinion. And, you know, I have not gone to law school, haven't even gone to become a paralegal. My experience and the experience of those that I've seen. And for example, my one buddy, he left his job as a sergeant working as a detective, actually, which is a sergeant rank. And you want to talk about oppressive mandates. He had to leave in the middle of the night. And let's keep in mind, I want to put a little bit of backstory to this so people understand when they don't. Sometimes revisionist history happens, right? And people forget the full-on climate. There was a time in Canada where we honestly thought, those of us that did not get the single fang snake bite, that we were going to be quarantined. They had quarantine camps. They had hotels that they incarcerated people in and were feeding them barely 3 squares and not letting them leave their hotel rooms. And if they tried to leave, they were taken down by security. You had police checkpoints. You had police knocking on doors. You had the government saying, how long are we going to tolerate these people? We had people calling for the death of those that had not taken the single fang snake bite. And that led to employers either making a decision that we're going to make this a hospitable environment for people that are saying, I'm either not going to say whether I took it or outright say I haven't taken it. Or they said, we're going to fire you or report you. Or there was a whole host of things that they did. And my friend that I mentioned, he had to literally pack his house because of the climate we lived in and try to get across the border while the mandates were still in place. And didn't mention it to anyone, and didn't resign until he knew he was safely across the border and free of Canada. Then he called up and emailed the employer and resigned from his position of $120,000 a year as a police officer because he was fighting against the madness and nobody was listening, and he was being met with nothing but vitriol, and he was being met with nothing but ad hominem and being treated as if he was a leper. And now only to find out, not only is it not safe and effective, but they didn't actually have any scientific data or evidence to back up the mandate in the first place, or any of the mandates. So yeah, find a lawyer, contact the lawyer. We're now seeing the dust settle. So let's get some legal opinions here. Let's get some legal representation here. Let's get some legal representation here. And like I said, I was just following orders is not an excuse. So hold their feet to the fire. Let's make sure this crap never happens again.